But you got to start getting the guy mentored and in the fold now to be that double-digit sack guy. We talked about it time and time. In the last 10 years, they've only had one guy with 10 or more sacks. There have been no double-digit sack guys. So you need a guy to come in and grow up through it. Plus, you need a guy now to win now. And to weaken your division foe like that is only, gravy on the mashed potatoes, bro. It's gravy on the mashed potatoes.
Hey, Barrett, I told you, and again, I think this all goes in line here with what we saw at the NFL Combines now, where that we saw, and I've got some targets. I got some guys that the Eagles could target here. I'm going to get to those dudes in a second here. But the Cowboys, they're now talking that they're going to have to release Amari Cooper and Demarcus Lawrence.
They'd already released Amari Cooper. So Cooper's gone.
Demarcus Lawrence is next.
Wow. How do you do that? That means Gregory's gone and Demarcus Lawrence is gone?
They may be getting rid of Demarcus Lawrence to try to keep Gregory. Because are you going to lose both your edge rushers?
Right. And
look at where the Eagles are in right now. They're not thinking of having to cut anybody. They're under the cap. They got all that commodity. They're going to be $26 million under the cap. They've got first-round draft choices out the wazoo here. Would you go after either Amari Cooper? Let's start there.
Yes.
Would the Eagles have Yes. Why?
Because he's a veteran player. They don't have that veteran presence in that room. And a veteran presence in that room can really teach them what it is to be an NFL receiver. These guys are just going off talent right now, but there's little things that you could do, like stemming, you know what I'm saying? When you're going against the DB, look him straight in his eyes, run up on his toes, and then make you move. Those are little things that, you could do it and show these guys as a young wide receiver what to do. I mean, little things as far as body lean on the guy, lean on a guy, make sure, you lean it and then move out, or use that lean, fake, and then go back across him because he knows you're trying to get it. Those are all little things that a veteran receiver can help him out in crunch time. Kind of look at what's going on with the Sixers. You know what I'm saying? You look at Harden getting with Maxey and telling him, hey, man, I need you to do this. And ever since he's been there, he's shown him how to be a scorer on a team like, the Sixers. You've got Embiid there, but he's showing he can evenly give the ball to Embiid, give the ball to Harden, and become a scorer himself. That's what veteran presence does. That's why I was on the Steelers team for 4 years. Not because, I could play, but it was more so I had the experience to help these young guys really take it to the next level. The Max, Chris Kimawatu, all these young guys that they had there, they just weren't refined enough to play. They needed a little bit of this to get them to that next level. They would use me as a player type of coach to get them guys going. Plus, they knew on game they could just dress me, and I could handle all the positions. But it was more so to be a liaison to these younger players. That's why I stuck around so long.
Let me say this though. Okay, for you to have a guy like that in Philly, you're going to have to overpay him because the quarterback's going to go like this. That guy can't get me the ball. So You're going to have to put more money in the bag for him to really even look up and say, I could see Amari going, I'd like to play against the Cowboys twice a year.
Exactly.
To get an opportunity to go back. But for me, I think Amari, who was going to be a $20 million hit against the cap, he's going to go like this. I need to go to a place that's going to give me a chance to win a Super Bowl.
I don't know.
Also, that's going to give me a chance to make a lot of money. Man, if I were him, I might even entertain wanting to maybe go back to the Raiders. That might be a scenario for him with Josh McDaniel. Derek Carr loves the kid too. It was a big deal when he got dealt to the Cowboys. So that could be something that could go back. But for Amari Cooper and the Eagles, I think it's really a tougher putt to get him than even Demarcus Lawrence, because Demarcus Lawrence is a defensive player, man. He could go in and make an impact anywhere on any football team. Amari's a wide receiver. These diva dudes, man. They want to get their targets. They want to get their catches. Some of these guys are even like this, Barrett. hey, fuck it if we win. I don't care. As long as I get 14 targets, 8 catches, 130 yards, I'm good. That's what I'm trying to get in my contract with all my bonuses. So would you think that Howie would go like this? All right, I'll pay him $13, $14 million to bring him in.
Absolutely.
Because he doesn't really have the quarterback. Do you think he'd pay him?
Well, I mean, you look at it, he kind of has the same quarterback in Hurts here. With play action, it'll open up, his game. His game opened up because they ran play action
That's a great point
to open it up.
You're right. That got better. That got better when Amari showed up in Dallas. You're right.
Exactly. So I bet he would think he could do the same thing for a guy like Hurts, especially with the running game that they have. Look at the offensive line that they have. With them leading the NFL in rushing yardage can only help him out because there's like now they're going to put in an extra tackle. They're going to put in an extra tight end, run this play action, and then you have him one-on-one on the outside because they got to put a guy inside the box to stop the run. They're going to be run heavy. So which will leave him a lot of the times one-on-one against a corner, or maybe even if you put you double team with a say he can run past the safety. So it's kind of, it's kind of an instant that, all right, if I do come here, I'll have more scenarios to get the ball because it's going to open up because they're going to run the ball, play action, and that's exactly what happened with Dak as his career went along. The better the run game was, the more wide open he was during passing downs.
Absolutely. Now here, this is the guy, I mean, dude, if you give me Demarcus Lawrence and I draft a kid as an edge rusher, or I'd make an opportunity to be able to go out and get a linebacker, or, dude, the cornerback position is going to be so deep in the NFL draft. I mean, you're going to get a great player in rounds 2, 3 that are going to fall through a gap here. But would you rather go into the draft to get a edge rusher, or would you want a proven dude and he also hurts your opponent inside the division? I mean, Demarcus Lawrence not being on that Dan Quinn defense, hey, man, I tell you, I mean, I'm going to say the reason I think they're cutting him is because he's not living up to the contract. But I'll tell you what, the Eagles don't have anybody on their defense right now that gets you the type of pressure on the quarterback that this guy would bring into your building. Demarcus Lawrence, what do you make of him on the Eagles? Or should the Eagles go after him? He's going to command a good penny as well.
I'm going to say yes again. I'm going to say yes to both, though. I'm going to say yes to getting somebody like Demarcus Lawrence in free agency and drafting in the first round. Using one of those first-round picks to get a young pass rusher to come into the fold. Simply because you need a guy that's going to grow up there. I mean, Brandon Graham is my dude, but Brandon Graham he's up at year 11 now. So how much longer does he have? How much gas does he have in the tank? I believe he's going to be good, for the next, year and a half. Yeah, he'd be fine. But you got to start getting the guy mentored and in the fold now to be that double-digit sack guy. We talked about it time and time. In the last 10 years, they've only had one guy with 10 or more sacks. There have been no double-digit sack guys. So you need a guy to come in and grow up through it. Plus, you need a guy now to win now. And to weaken your division foe like that is only, gravy on the mashed potatoes, bro. It's gravy on the mashed potatoes. Dude,
the last guy that Jerry Jones let loose went to Denver. Guy put a Hall of Fame career together in Denver, man. I mean, dude, I told you, Barrett, the Cowboys now, I mean, look at what they're doing now. They're going here's the difference between the front offices in Philadelphia and in Dallas. One front office is going, man, how are we going to get under the salary cap here? We're third worst in the cap. How are we going to get down like that? We got to cut this guy. We got to cut this. I was shocked they stayed on Zeke, but then I realized that they own $50 million in guarantees. Yes. And it would be a massive hit against the salary cap. So maybe next year will be the year that they move off from, because the kid Pollard, in my opinion, Barrett, he's more productive than Zeke. Every time they get him on the field, and he only makes $850,000.
I don't know.
Okay, Zeke makes $473,000 a game.
Yeah,
a game. Hey, did that ever? Hey, were you ever in a situation where you had a guy that was making gigantic money, and you were out playing, and you were better then, and the guy was still making the money, man. Tell me that didn't aggravate you, man. When
It
you're
did,
looking
man.
but you don't want to be a jackass to the guy because he's your boy. But you're like this. How's that guy making double what I'm making?
Bro, it was a lot. It happened to me a lot during the last couple of years of my career. Because I look at this guy coming in, and you know what I'm saying, we get our checks, man. He's making $100,000 more than me a week. But yet he couldn't hold my jock. But he just during that time period, he was younger than 2 or 3 years younger than me, and they thought that they saw more of an upside. And the more and more they thought they saw that upside, the more and more they were disappointed in why they had this guy on the roster. So I eventually outplayed those guys and outlived those guys as far as an NFL career. But it's irritating as hell when you look at your check and look at his check, and he's making $100,000 more than you, and this guy is trash too, bro. Trash.
Hey, Barrett. So my rookie year, I go like this, man. I get my first paycheck. I didn't have direct deposit in '87. I just had to give me a hard check. So they would put your checks on. They'd put your checks. I think it was used to be two. I know now they direct deposit. I think on Tuesdays. I think it's Tuesday. So we got our checks like on Wednesday. So we go in there and I go, wow. Look, and the first time I go, man, $42,000. I mean, my grandpa didn't make this thing. He didn't make this in his whole year as a fireman. I'm looking at it, $42,000. Vinny Testaverde comes over my shoulder. He goes, man, look at that. That's really a lot of money, huh? Then he shows me his check, $257,000. I was like, get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. I'm like, you make $250,000 a week? And he goes, this is back in the day, and he's like, yeah, I make two. I was like, I'm looking at my little $40,000. I'm going, damn. Shit. Hey, Leroy Solomon goes like this. You want to see a better one? How about this one? This was $350,000. I went. Everyone started showing me their checks. I'm like, shit, man. I'm like in poverty over here, man. Right?
No, like it's just what it was, man. I can remember, when I was with Cleveland, your boy. But, they used to tell me,
Butcher.
Right. They used to tell me,
what are you doing, man?
I couldn't stand him. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. I couldn't stand him, man. But I was sitting back and I heard stories about Zeus. Remember Zeus, the big tackle? Yeah. Big Brown, Orlando Brown. Bro, they said that dude was, he'd have checks in his suit. Like, the Brown is a great organization. They run things great. Like,
by the way, they franchise tagged him today.
Who?
Orlando Brown.
Oh, did they? Well,
yeah.
You knew they were going to do that. You knew that. They weren't.
I didn't think he played that hot.
He didn't, but it's not a lot.
But they gave up too much to the Ravens for him.
That's the biggest thing. But his pops, man, would God rest his soul, but his pops, they used to dry clean your suits. Like if you need your suits dry cleaned, all you had to do was just give them to the equipment guys, and they sent it out to get dry cleaned. Well, they would send it out to get dry cleaned, and he would have like 2 checks of like $270,000 each check in his suits because he didn't trust banks. They'd have to come down. The upstairs would come down and tell him, hey, look, Zeus, you got our books all messed up, man, because you haven't cashed any of your checks this year. He's like, this is like week 13. He hadn't cashed any of his checks.
That's crazy.
That's
hey, I show up to deposit my signing bonus for the first time at this thing called NC&B Bank. I show up. I got $375,000. I got a Guinea cutoff T-shirt. I got coach's shorts on. Remember them old coach's shorts? I got coach's shorts. I'm sitting in my Corvette, and I go like this. I hand the chick, and I go, listen, how do I do this? I don't even have a bank account. Here's a check for $300. She goes, Mr. Sileo, Mr. Culverhouse and those said that you'd be coming over because, he owns this bank. I go, he owns this bank? Give me the check back. I went to another bank. I said, and I went to, no. And I said, no, that's okay. So I walk in there, man. I'm sitting down there in a guinea tea. Like I'm Rocky. Hey, I want to get a snow cone. Right. A snow cone machine. And, hey, I'll probably get Paulie what do you want? A snow cone machine? I'm signing. I get my check, man. I show up there. Everyone's laughing their ass off. I walk out in flip-flops coach's shorts and a Guinea T-shirt on. I just deposited $375,000. That was my bonus. And I'm like, man, I called my grandpa up. He goes, I'll be gone in about a year. Man, I tell you what, I was Italian rich, brother. I'm buying stereos. I got cars, man. The only car I didn't own, Barrett, was a Ferrari. I had everything else. I had a 911. I had a quadruport, Maserati. I had my vet. I had 3 cars at once. Yeah, and then I bought a Lotus. My dad goes, "You don't fit in it." And I go, "Yeah, I do."
No way. No way you can fit in.
I learned after that, dude, to save as much money as I possibly could.
Bro, that's the only way you can do it, man. I tell people all the time, man, the NFL stands for not for long.
You bet.
Not for long. Because you just
Man.
don't know how much time you get.
Do you think the Eagles should throw a first-round draft choice at this kid, Malik Willis?
No.
How about a second? He's not going to last.
Yes.
I don't know if he lasts to the second, but, man, he's so raw.
He's the number 2 quarterback in this draft. There's no way he lasts through the first round. You know, I mean, you got to get through Pittsburgh. You got to get through a lot of places. Now, you expend the first round even to get up to him. I doubt seriously, because you know the NFL, they go in runs when it comes to the draft. If somebody picks up a defensive end, it's going to be a run of defensive end. Somebody gets a corner, it's going to be just a bunch of corners going through. It has a lot to do with how they approach the draft and where they want. I don't think that they want to. If they're going to get a quarterback, they're going to get somebody that can play right now. And there's only probably 1 or 2 guys that will even get that opportunity in this draft to do that. I don't think they're ready. I don't think, this team would waste that time going through and maturing another quarterback. If they're going to go with somebody, they're going to get somebody that's already been in the league. They don't have time to go mature a quarterback right now.
Yeah, I don't want a project.
Right, exactly.
They're not. I mean, exactly. I'm sick of projects. They've just gone through 2 of them.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you want a guy with at least an arm that's got here? To me, the Eagles have to improve on one thing: accuracy. Okay? Accuracy. Get a quarterback who's got a quarter. They haven't really. Hey, if you think about it, you tell me if I'm wrong. They haven't had an NFL arm in that building since Foles.
I'm not even gonna say Foles.
You think Carson had a better NFL arm?
No, I think the best arm they've had in the last 10 years, 20 years probably be Mac. Other than that, I mean, strong arm, like Vic has probably had the strongest arm out of all the quarterbacks.
But the best quarterback arm, like Stafford, like that kind of arm that he's a pro quarterback. You think the last quarterback they've had has been Donovan McNabb?
Yeah, I mean, as a starter. I don't view Foles as a starter, so I wouldn't put him in. I believe Vic had the strongest arm. I viewed him as a starter. But other than that, I mean, there's been guys that come in, and I don't think that he was better. I don't think Carson was better than Mac. You know what I'm saying? I think McNabb was a better. No Five was a better.
McNabb's 10 times better.
Right. No so I couldn't put Carson in that same discussion as far as the best quarterback to come through here.
I would put it tough to say, Barrett. I think McNabb is a borderline Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, borderline. You let him tell it. You let
Probably
him tell it.
Probably no, but he's a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback.
He's still the best quarterback to come through Philadelphia. That's for daggone sure.
That's for damn sure. Absolutely. But I think he's better than Randall.
Yep, he is better than Randall. And I played with Randall, and Randall didn't become great until he became that drop back quarterback and stayed in the pocket and only ran when he had to. That's when he went to Minnesota.
John Gruden hated him.
Oh, no question.
Hey, dude, it's not because of his ability. It's because he was like a preacher prayer kind of guy, and John hates that kind of stuff. He goes, "What's my quarterback praying for? We don't pray on here." I was like, "Look at that guy praying over there. Get off your knees, man. Something coming about." Like, dog, man.
Well, you know what? Gruden also didn't like him because he never studied the way Gruden wanted him to study.
Right.
Gruden wants a guy that's going to be in there and be a locker room junkie. He wants you to be in there and watch film, a film junkie. He wants you to do all ball, nothing else but all ball.
He likes guys that are kind of like almost assistant coaches kind of mentality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that. All right, Barrett, I got some guys that performed really well at the draft. I want to get your thumbs up, thumbs down. Play like you're Caesar, because these guys really performed well. I mean, I thought the combines were really outstanding. I thought the whole entertainment, I thought how the NFL put it on was absolutely exceptional. I'm sure you got some guys, too, you want to throw in there, too. So we'll do that. Back in 3 minutes here on The Middle. Big Sills, Barrett Brooks.